It's Roman Bodnarchuk back here from the Best Half Show. So what I'm talking about today is what I've learned the past year with the Best Half Show. And it's been an incredible journey building the number one standing podcast about the second half of your life being 10 times better than your first half. So one of the key lessons for me was you need a group of people to support you. So how I learned this lesson was we started this 75-day challenge. It was a free online program I put together. It's one video a day, every day for 75 days. And we created a WhatsApp group for it. And we would all post things. And once a week, we'd share a picture of our results, whether it was a scale or a body fat measurement or some kind of metric. Incredibly powerful. And some of the best information was not the information I was posting every day, although I did, I think, a pretty good job of posting some really credible health information about intermittent fasting, about a diet, about exercise. But really what worked was the group got together. And not everyone was super successful. There's probably out of the 15, 5 just took it to a new level. Incredible. I think 10 got fantastic results and 5 kind of fizzled. It still got results, but didn't work as hard as the other. This is just, the 80-20 rule, the way life works. But what I learned was the power of community. So for example, we found this place called Othership. Othership is a place in Toronto, which is really cool. Dana White calls it the coolest place in the world, and he might be right. It's basically where you go in these like really hot saunas, and then you do these really cold plunges in a community thing. Really, really amazing. So we'd meet up at Othership. We started doing yoga in my backyard on Sundays. And it was just powerful. So what I learned is when you have a few human beings that are really encouraging each other, it's extraordinary. You just don't want to let your friends down. So that community, what was amazing is this is all free. We just did it for fun. There's no real incentive to do it other than, hey, we want to get in the best shape of our lives. But I saw literally life-changing results for people in 75 days. So what I've been thinking about for a while now is what can I do to leave the biggest impact? And what I believe it is today, it's creating a mastermind group. And I was, I guess I was maybe in my early 20s and I joined a mastermind group. It was a friend of mine named Mike Hunter put it together and it was amazing. Like we went into this boardroom and there's a bunch of, he selected some really great guys. The challenge was none of us made a financial commitment to it. So it kind of fizzled out after a few months. And I think what I've learned is when people commit to something, especially financially, because usually your heart goes with your wallet. When you commit to something and the bigger commitment, you make financially, the more committed you are. I'll give you a case in point. When I was about 22 years old, I got an opportunity to do a 14-day program. It was a Tony Robbins program. And it was in Hawaii. It was extraordinary. I mean, this was like the top end of Tony Robbins program. Incredibly intense, 14 days. We started out 8 in the morning, went to like 1 in the morning every day for 14 days. And it was super expensive. I remember the only way I could afford to get it was because when you're a university student, they send you all these credit card offers. And American Express sent me a card and they said I had no limit. I'm like, great, let's try that out. And I believe it was 16,000 US, which I didn't have that money. So I was just hoping that I was going to get enough value to figure out how to pay my Amex bill when it came in. And it worked. So what was powerful about that is when you pay $16,000 US, which in today's dollars, I'm sure it's over $35,000, you take it intensely seriously. And I also recruited my best friend, Ariel, and his wife to go. And they actually had to pay double. But we were incredibly focused on that, on the results. To this day, we still refer to our notes. We still have our workbooks from that. And it's changed our lives. Ariel was a new immigrant to Canada, became a multimillionaire in a couple years. For me, I became a millionaire at 30, $1 million a year, 35. So it had life-changing effects on us. Also, when I became a vegetarian, a bunch of things happened. So what I did learn is when you make a big financial commitment to something, you tend to get value out of it. So what I've done for the last 30 years is I continue to sign up for different programs and courses, and I'm pushing myself. And I've done this even when I was broke. There was a time where we'd raised $1 million for our company. We had venture capital. We became super fast growing. It was unbelievable. But sometimes when you're a fast growing company, like one of the top 50 in the country, you can still run out of money. Like, believe me, Even if you're a fast growing company, you're doubling revenue on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, you can still run out of money because you're scaling up, you're building offices, hiring lots of people. And we ran out of money. And I remember talking to, I think, my fiance at the time. I don't think we were married yet. And I said, I'm really scared. I don't know how we're going to make the mortgage payments, the car payments, rent. Like, I was really stressed out. Probably shouldn't have told her that. But then I told her, I said, hey, by the way, I found this Tony Robbins course I need to take. It was in Long Beach, California. She's like, let me get this straight. So you're telling me that we're in deep, dire financial strait, like you're in big trouble. You're not sure how we're going to pay the mortgages, the car payments, rents, etc. But you're telling me you've got to go sign up for this, multi-$1,000 course, fly to California and do this. And I said, yeah, I do. I really need to do this. And it was the right decision. I mean, I turned the business around because it was my mindset. I needed that 4 days or 5 days to be in the right environment, even though probably 90% of what I learned in that course is stuff I'd already heard before. But sometimes you just need to be among a group of people at a certain vibration to take you back there. So I've been investing, and I don't think, if I add it all up, probably spend $1 million on personal development over my lifetime. And the reason I've done that is I believe your income can only go as high as your personal development. And I talked to a good friend of mine yesterday, and he was telling me how his business has kind of hit this threshold, last couple of years, can't get past this. And I know, and I did tell him, the reason for that has got nothing to do with the economy. It's not the political environment. It's not the clients. It's not his staff. It's him. It's his mind. So it's kind of like our body. Our body sets at a certain temperature, and you might get a fever and it might go higher for a few days, but then it goes back to your normal temperature. Well, the same thing works with your income and your personal development. You might get lucky sometimes. Your income might go higher for a few months. Maybe you get a whole year out of it, but it'll always reset to where your personal development is. So I've been constantly pushing myself out of my comfort zone. Just came back from a seminar, which was probably the best business seminar I ever went to. And I've been to a lot in Florida with Patrick Bet-David. So, and then a few months ago, I was with Grant Cardone. I mean, I don't stop investing in myself. And the reason I do that is I've learned I don't get a higher return anywhere. And I'm a really good investor. I've been very, very fortunate to make incredible investments. I mean, the Bitcoin alone has been incredible, but I've had an extraordinary track record in real estate. I started buying at 14. So I've been really good at this. So despite my investment track record, the best return, like actually when you add zeros to it, is when I invest in myself. So where this all comes today is where it culminates is what I've learned. What I've learned is to create a mastermind group. So I've been out searching for a new one. I've done strategic coach for many years. I've done tech. In the US, we call it Vistage. I've done incredible of these programs where you meet with somebody, every month, a group, and they were fantastic. But over the past decade, what I noticed, they became very woke. And what I mean by woke, it's when, I guess it's around 2014, we decided as a society that we're just going to create all these victims and just worry about all these victims and everyone's a victim and just it got crazy. And then what happened is as we got into this whole woke thing, all of a sudden you couldn't say certain things that we knew to be true. You had to have pronouns, just some weird stuff happened. So even though these groups were very successful for me in the past, I learned once with all this woke stuff, they became very diluted and very strange. So I've been searching for an incredible mastermind to take me to the next level. And quite honestly, I couldn't find one because I wanted a group of motivated men. And I did learn it had to be men because men, we're very different than women. One's not better or different, but we're very different. If you look at a man's brain, it's pretty simple. You look at an MRI scan of a woman's brain, it's very complicated. It looks like a fireworks show. We're very different. Women are great with therapy, with therapists. They love to talk about their problems. Men are solution oriented. They're happy to share with you once, but then they want to know, like, what do I do to fix this? And they go to action. They go to fix it. They don't want to just keep talking about their problems each time. So very, very different. So what I learned in this new mastermind was a group of highly motivated men that wanted to 10x a part of their life. Because something I've learned helping 5 companies now reach $1 billion in either revenue or a valuation is it's actually easier to 10x a part of your life than 2x. So it's actually easier to 10 at times your income than just double it. I know it sounds crazy, but I've learned this to be true. And I've got lots of reference points over the years that this is true. So I couldn't find the mastermind I was looking for. And believe me, I've searched around the world. The last 3 years, I've traveled over 1,000,000 miles. I definitely get out of my house. So I'm not shy about getting around the world to wherever I think that I can learn something or get to the next level, I will go and find it. So what I learned is there didn't have a mastermind group that I think would be ideal for somebody that had been successful in their life, but felt that they were at an age where most of their friends were content. When most of your friends are like living in their dream house and they're just content, they don't want to go any further, they start regressing. And I've learned in life and in business, you're either growing, you're getting better, or you're regressing. There's no like plateau. And a lot of people hit that middle age, whether it's 40, 45, 50, whatever it is. And they just kind of go, okay, I'm content. But their health is getting worse. Their business is getting worse. Financially is getting worse. Just one example, financially, like if you thought you're just kind of doing fine financially the last 3 or 4 years, you didn't factor in the real inflation rate. And the real inflation rate the last few years is like 20% a year. So I don't care how much money you made or saved, you lost 20% of that value every year because of all this money printing that's been happening and continues to go on. So to make a long story short, what I decided to do was create my own mastermind, just like I created my 75-day challenge and called my 15 friends. So you're going to hear a lot about our mastermind moving forward. We're creating a brand new podcast called 10X Living. And it's how we are building our masterminds, how we're scaling them. I'm doing this in Toronto. I'm doing this in Florida. I'm doing this in Costa Rica. These are the 3 places that I spend most of my time. So I felt that I'm going to build a community in the 3 cities and the 3 areas I spend most of my time. And it's where my best friends are. But I am putting together a really super elite mastermind program. And our new podcast called the 10X Living is going to kind of share with you our results and what the next 12 months is going to be like. So thanks for sharing with me. I appreciate your support of the Best Half Show. And I look forward to you joining us on the journey for 10X Living.